Okay, let's start. Hope you can hear me and see the screen. There is a question answer section on the, yeah, you can send any question answers you have anytime. Okay, let's start. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this webinar. How does Teamcenter classification play a vital role in handling vast amount of industry data? Today, I will be presenting this along with Jaideep. Um, my name is Angad Sote. I have around 20 years of experience on the Siemens technology, mostly implementing PLM and as well as classification included, number of customers, different regions. Jaideep, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hello everyone, myself Jaideep. I'm having total 10 plus years of experience in implementation of various PLM and CAD related technologies specific to managing various business activities and managing the various type of data related to classification and other technology related data.
Okay, thanks, Jaideep. Right. So about PLM Nordic, we are based in Norway as well as in India. Started in 2018. We are a Siemens partner and reseller in the Nordic region. And we also provide services on PLM CAD. And we have also built some complementary products to help Teamcenter and NX users. These are some of the customers we have been working and different industries and different countries in Europe and Americas. So quickly jumping on to the objective of this meeting, uh, the expectations, I would say. So this is a repeat of Realize live session, which we did in US as well as in Europe. And the objective is to cover the classification functionality as a whole. We would not go into specific details. That would be add-on webinars on specific topics like advanced topics. But this is more for customers who are new to Teamcenter as well as who have been using basic classification, and idea is to give what's new as well as what's from beginning to end and what is covered with some case studies about classification, its usage. So this is the agenda. So introduction, then we will dig into the problems, why classification, what are its capabilities, what are the business impacts, and how can we implement it. Then we will see what is basic classification versus what is advanced, also what's new with the AI field in the classification, and we will take question answers in the end. You can always type the question answers in the section whenever you have one. Okay, then what is classification, right? So as the name suggests, it's classification, like we are classified as humans into certain categories and species. So same way, your parts can be classified systematically into groups and categories, and they will have attributes common like shape, properties, usages, materials, etc. So it helps to organize the data in a logical and systematic way, and that gives a lot of advantages that we will see. Yeah. So it's a way to group things, to classify things so that they are easy to find. It's a way to overcome the chaos. It's a way to uh, make the decision making, insights into your data possible. It's a foundation for data analytics on your parts, your IP, not just parts, assemblies, and documents and everything. Right? Why classification? What is the problems it's addressing? Right. So, as a engineer, design engineer, you might be assigned some tasks from time to time to design components, and it's very easy to start from scratch and do. But if you want to try to reuse the existing parts, maybe it's not so easy to search and find whatever is matching. So classification helps in that. It helps in reusing the parts. There are obviously a lot of benefits downstreams if you reuse the part, right? And it also avoids duplication. It avoids too many parts of same type in the database, and it addresses those problems, and it naturally gives the benefits. These are coming from systematic calculations and studies carried out, and there are calculations going whenever a new item ID or a new part is introduced in your company, in your system, that costs company, because when you release it, somebody has to look at it, somebody has to plan it, somebody has to procure it or produce it, somebody has to take the inventory control, somebody has to do costing on it. So there is a whole lot of life cycle which comes into play when we introduce a new part. And if we are able to reuse existing parts, there is a lot of saving. Imagine the number of duplicate parts, and if we can narrow it down and effectively use. So it will also help in inventory control, testing, inspections, because once the part has gone through this life cycle, it has gone through everything, and we have to repeat it all when we are introducing a new part, right? So it's a lot of time reduction in the design activity as well as the downstream activities, and we can do a lot of savings in terms of cost, right? Then we can say what classification covers and what are the functionalities or capabilities. So it provides a user-friendly structure to navigate, the classification. We will see that in the demos and the videos in the next slides. It provides better visual navigation. It provides a layout. It provides the search engine, which is the most important to find the parts by attributes, narrow down by shape search, by different methodologies. And you can filter, you can also compare the objects so that you can choose what you need. The visualization of the parts is also important. You get to see the preview parts or documents, or and also there are advanced capabilities like E-class library integration. We will see what is that, and classification with AI. So all in all, classification covers these capabilities. Right? How do we implement it? It is more like any feature implementation or module implementation. You have to define what you need, what are the goals and objectives, and we need to see if your company is ready for it. Can we have the resources? Can we have the data? Can we do the cleaning? And then we have to make a plan. And definitely, it's recommended to do some pilot project. There are a lot of learnings from it, and we can showcase to other stakeholders, get the feedbacks, and then we try to implement in on a limited scale, and also try to integrate with your other systems, and we continue the iteration and improve, and with training, so these are kind of steps. If you don't have it and you want to implement it, Then let's jump to what is basic classification, also called generic. This has been existing from 20 years, and yeah, it has been there in the rich client, and you might have already used it if you have used it. So it provides the basic classification functionality. We call it classification user level license. On top of it, you can have library management as extra feature and specifications. Again, we will see what is that. So it provides a basic functionality of classifying the parts, then searching the parts, filtering the parts, comparison, right? And we will see a brief demo of it. But this is whatever is in the basic also is in the advanced. So basic means you get it if you have a classification module or license. So doesn't mean it is not there in the advanced. It is the same or included. Yeah. So maybe Jaideep will talk about the video and the functionality, right?
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
So we have seen the classification capabilities. So this demo is regarding that only. Here we will see how to use the navigation panel and visual navigation for browsing of any hierarchy. As you can see, all the hierarchies are visible over here, and we are navigating through it as per our requirement, and from which we will select our desired class to find the classified object. Here we are selecting the milling tool out of the tool class, and after that you can see in the middle panel all the milling related tools are available, and further on we will apply the filtering criteria based on the various attributes. So first one, as you can see on the screen, we are applying cutting edge filter criteria. Then later on we will apply additional filter which will be the cutting diameter length. So it will further shorted out the component and it will reduce the number of filtered parts. So now you can see the parts are limited to 4, and you can see the part details in the classification panel, and we can see the various images and sheets related to that object, and we can compare all 4 objects to get the proper decision according to our business requirements. So based on our filter criteria, you can see all 4 parts are visible and compared on the screen. So mainly we have compared with the length and cutting edge diameter. So these are the various images and data sheets and drawings attached to the particular classified objects. So basically classification covers all the information related to the product. So these are the some of the capabilities of the classification. If you want to go to the particular property group, you can go to particular property group and you can see the details as shown in the screen. And at any point you can also modify that details that we will see also in the upcoming demos as well. So that's it in this demo. Now we will look into one of the demo regarding the property comparisons which is associated with the classified object. So here we will find any desired component using the search functionality, and here we will use the GLS shape search functionality. So that is the one of the efficient tool for finding the desired object. You can see on the screen we are setting our shape search criteria, and based on that classification will limit the number of object. And above the shape search functionality, you can apply the filter criteria based on the attribute, just like we seen in the previous demo. So we are applying the length filter, and based on that filter, the number of object will be limited. And again, if you want to apply one more filter or if you want to change, that is as per your requirement, you can apply filter. And once the filter is applied, just like previous demo, we can again compare the objects. So here we have compared the object based on their material and length parameters. So this is how Geolus search shape engine works.
Right.
Now,
So
yes, continue Angad.
yeah. So just recap in the last video, what we did is we started with a part and we did a shape search on the part. So we found all the bolts from this same shape. Then we applied material as a filter to filter it more. Then we applied length as a filter to apply it more. And then we came into certain number of parts to compare, and then we can choose the part. So that is something also is a way to go forward, right? Right. So this was about how do we search, shape search, reuse. Going on to the advanced classification. So what is advanced classification versus basic? What we can say is a new versus old classification engine, because like rich client versus active workspace, MPP versus easy plan, the technology base is new in this, and it is more active workspace based, and let's say it's more efficient, more scalable, more flexible. You know, the data formats have changed, and more limitations are removed. Earlier it was only 200 attributes possible, now it's unlimited attributes possible. And let's say earlier you had limited data exchange formats, now you have more number of data exchange formats, not just DCXML, PLM XML, but more JSON and all. And also you have an out of the box support for e-class, which is standard, industry standard, or you can say which is the only industry standard for classification in the industry. It has been developed over many, many years, and Siemens also is one of the companies supporting, and there are many other big companies supporting E-class. So what is E-class is like every company can define their product in a different way, but when they rely on each other for exchanging product information, buying from each other or supplying each other, then there is a problem. So you can export your data, classification data, but the other company may have a different format, attributes, etc., etc. So E-class defines a standard, just like other standards, for a worldwide definition and hierarchy of parts and attributes. Right? So it has predefined suggestions or hierarchy and attributes. So when we say, give me E-class standard data, and then if both companies are aware, so it can be very easy to interpret the data. And also it's easy to integrate with other systems like ERP system and other systems, so that there is a common format. Of course, you can design your own classification structure, you can design your own attributes, but when we are dealing with outside world, we need something common, which is more like a standard. So this is E-class standard, which is included in the advanced classification as an add-on module. Then we have library management and specifications, which also were in the basics, but these are also very well integrated. We will also see what is that. Yeah. A good thing is it's the same license. If you already have a classification license, then you don't need a new license. So it's the same, new versus old. Just like if you have a Teamcenter author license, doesn't matter. You can use rich client as well as active workspace the same way. You need add-on licenses for e-class and AI and library management if you need extra functionalities, right? Okay, so about the library and specification, this is more like you can if you don't want to expose your entire library to certain departments or groups and you want to limit it for some reason for comfort or simplicity or compliances, you can do it by creating the libraries and creating the specifications, so and creating the rules. Like for example, people in welding department needs a certain set of parts and they don't need to see everything. For example, they need welds, flanges, this and that. So you can set certain rules. People in certain specific departments, surveys, for example. So you can make it easier and more viewable for them by putting those rules, and they can have the library of parts which is shown to them with respect to certain rules or filters. And yeah, th- then we can see a little bit more about E-class in advanced classification or the new classification. That's a demo where we also navigate and show you how E-class library imported into Teamcenter looks like and how you can use it. Yeah. Over to you, Jaideep.
Yes. So in this demo, we will browse and navigate through the E-class hierarchy. So as you can see in the first panel, we are going through the E-class hierarchy, out of which we are selecting desired class. So according to the selection, it will show the number of objects classified in a particular class or a group, which is visible in the right side panel. Now from that, we will go through the required object and it will show all the related properties to that particular class or selected object. Now, if you see in the classification tab, it is showing all the properties related to the SE power supply object. And moreover that, we are applying some filtering criteria. So that panel is also visible in the left side. So if needed, you can apply filter criteria. I think Angad video is paused. Could you check this? Yes,
Okay,
now it
now
is playing.
uh,
Yes. So you can see E-class functionality provides all product related information. So based on your requirement, you can apply various filter criteria. And according to that, it will show the various properties groups associated with that particular object. And if you want, you can edit particular property group and you can edit the value as per your requirement. So as you can see on the screen, we are going through the different property groups, and according to that property group, it is showing various properties, and if you need, you can edit that. So this is what E-class functionality provides. And moreover that, in the E-class functionality, you can maintain various version of the same component. Let's move to the next slide.
right. So difference between the basic and advanced, as I said, it is more active workspace based on new technology. In the background, more let's say efficient, modern. Yeah, it captures more information and it's meant to be more flexible, and it supports E-class standard out of the box, right? And yeah, you have custom hierarchies in here. You have additional hierarchies. You have more data exchange formats, and the limitations are removed in terms of the number of attributes, right? Yeah, that's about the advanced classification. And anything you want to add on this, Jaideep?
Yes, so as Angad said, in advanced classification, it supports the various advanced standard. Basically, apart from the basic classification, whatever the standards are available that are already there. But apart from that, it supports additional standard. So, for example, DIN 4082 ISO standard, ISO 1384 standard, IC standard, which are basically E-class standards. So these are the additional E-class standards also added to the advanced classification. And if we talk about the additional features which are applicable to the advanced classification, so as a rule, whatever features are there in basic classification, all these things are already available in advanced classification. But what are the other things as the features are available? So it supports various views according to the current financial years, which is added by Siemens. It has various flexible data modeling capabilities, which gives the functionality to create attribute blocks and cardinality and polymorphism, which are only available in the advanced classification. Along with, you have native data storage, support for namespaces, and unlimited number of properties. So these are the various advanced features supported with advanced classifications. That's it.
Yep. Thanks, Jaideep. So moving on, what's next or new? So AI is in everywhere. So why not in classification? And why not exploit it in classification? Because it can be very helpful, right? So this is the AI in classification module, which helps users classify. So it gives a suggestion to the user. Let's say you have created a part and you want to classify, so it will give you based on its shape, based on its attributes, based on its metadata. It will take in those inputs and make a good suggestion. And it will also show how confident it is by terms of probability, 84% to 5%, and you can decide. So ultimately, it's not compulsory. You get the option to accept, reject, or modify also manually. So there is always human in the loop, and we can see a quick demo of it with the classification as the AI, just to say that after you classify or start to classify, you get something like this. Anyway, we are going to see the video. Yeah.
Yes. So in this video, we will use the functionality of AI. So as you can see, we are selecting one of the object, which is milling cutter, and you can see the geometry of that object. Now, after that, we will go for selection of that similar kind of object, which is basically face mill, and this geometry is more or like matching to the mailing cutter. So how AI can help in this? So we will see that functionality. So basically what we will do, we will go to the classification, and as you can see, this face mill component is not classified. So if you go to classification, then using the AI and shape search functionality, it will show the best possible matches. So as you can see on the screen, we got 84% match and 12%. So we are going for 84% match, which is more. And for that selected class or hierarchy, we'll get the different attributes. So as per our requirement, we will modify the particular property group values that we want to assign to our selected face mill component, and we will fill the required values. As you can see, we are filling the values, and you can see it also shows the suggested values which can be applied to that particular attributes from the list. Once all the values have been filled, then we can classify that component, and that component will go to that matching component hierarchy. So the object has been classified to that particular class. So as you can see, it is classified under face milling cutter, which was selected in the start. So it is classified under the same class. So this is how AI helps you. Also, AI has the functionality of auto classification. If you do want to classify a very large number of objects, so we can set the probability of the matching criteria. Let's say I want to classify the all the objects in a particular group with 95% match. So I can put it at a overnight. It will find all the matching objects with reference to particular criteria. And once we will found all the objects using AI, then we have to take the decision whether we want to classify or not. So this is how AI helps in auto classification as well. So
Mm.
this was regarding AI. That's it.
Thanks, Jadip. So then we move on to some practical case studies. So theory is over, and let's see some examples of the implementation. So this is a US car manufacturer, specialized sports car manufacturer, and we have been working with them on multiple topics, and classification is one of them. It's just a start, you can say, on the classification side, and it is also typical challenges we face during the classification. So first thing is the hierarchy of the structure, what attributes to be finalized, duplication of the data, integration with CAD. You can make it available in Annex, and attribute mapping to make it, more attributes available from CAD side into Teamcenter and vice versa. And yeah, then usual practice is to start on a smaller area and do the UAT, improve on it, and repeat the cycle, right? So anything to add, Jaideep, on this?
Yes. So moreover, like it's a standardization and classification of industry data to reduce the inventory control and designer's time so that designer can utilize their time for the better functionality and innovative product design. And as you can see in this case study for the client, we have designed component from the start, which were standard parts. We have got some ready-made components from the different vendors, and we have classified that as well. And so you can say from initial to the end of the classification, we have seen through. Yes, that's it.
Yeah. So another case study. So here in Norway, engine manufacturer, a lot of components. It's a big engine for the ships and land power. So big bill of material, electrical, mechanical, and different kind of combustion, non-combustion fluid systems and all. So the challenge was data existed from more than 30 years of data, unclassified data, you can say. So bigger challenge to classify old data, lot of duplicates, non-standard nomenclature, for example, hex bolt, hex dot bolt, hexagonal head bolt. You can find a number of combinations of same part. So a lot of cleaning required. Also some tools to automate the process of not just uploading data into Teamcenter. I mean the hierarchy as well as classification of the parts. So some custom scripts and utilities to make it easier so that users, designers can work in Excel or different systems they like, and then we can take that into Teamcenter, apply that into Teamcenter. And Yeah, a lot of negotiations, I would say, for arriving at structures. And initially, there were multiple sites involved, but later on, it was difficult to get some common structure for so many different varieties. So then the site was lucky to come out as independent and could make engine specific hierarchy and better structure it. Yeah. So this is more common problems with the classification implementation. There are tools also available, and also with AI and advanced classification now, it's still better and better to also implement classification. Few notes like the basic classification, advanced classification can coexist. Number of structures can coexist. You can try a different branch, and you can move on or double classify the components so that they are searchable. There are a lot of possibilities. We are not covering everything like interchangeable or attributes, or you can not, if you are not sure if it is length or breadth, I should search. You can link them together so that you can search on it. Grouping of attributes for user friendliness. So there are lot many functionalities available. Maybe we can take some of them in an advanced webinar. And I would say special thanks to Abhijit from Siemens, who had been very helpful in providing us the material as well as the advanced, capabilities. Yeah. And I think he is available also to answer any questions for us. Yeah. So I would be open for any questions. So you can type in the Q&A section, and we can take some of them. Yeah.
Yes. So Angad, we have already received three questions in Q&A section. So let's go through it one by one. So first question is, what if we want some attributes which should be only visible to admin person, not to other users? How can we handle this case? Yes, Samit. So this kind of functionality is already available in the classification admin application, where you select the required attributes that needs to be hidden from particular users. So that won't be visible to users and only visible to admin person. I hope that will answer to your questions. Second question is also from Damit. Can we set user or project specific rule? Yes, we can set the various kind of rules in the classification application. So it depends what kind of rule you want to set. So it's not like all the rules that we want to set are applicable, but there are limitation for setting of the rules. So various revision rules are available in the classification application. So as per our requirement, we can set the rules. We are talking about visibility of the groups, and that can be done in the classification as well. So that particular class visible will be visible to particular group, and we can set the custom views as well as per our requirement. The third question we have received is, if the classification values are changed after we get the AI result, then will our geometry be changed in that case? So the funda of the AI is here. We are using AI to classify the object. So once we use the AI to classify the object, so first AI will find all the matching objects based on the given search criteria. Once AI will show the results based on the search criteria, then it will not classify automatically until unless subject matter expert give its permission to classify, because end results will be dependent on the human. So even if you are changing the values, then AI will detect that this object is changed before the subject matter expert's decision, and it will update its results. So in the back end, AI is taking all the data from the safe search, metadata, and all other classified data, and it is updating continuously that data. So yes, if you are changing the value, it will go out of that search results. And
But I
again, you
think
have to
let
classify
me
that.
add to
Yes,
that is if you change values or attribute, it will not change the geometry. So classification is like is properties, and it will not affect your geometry back. I mean, right.
yes.
Okay, we have one more question is thanks team for arranging this event. Does basic and advanced classification in AWC will manage all functionality that BCT A class have? Can we get rid of BCT A class if we use only for classification purpose? Um, Abhijit, you want to answer this?
Sure, Angad. So
Yep.
thank you for inviting and having me here. Uh, so if you are using BCTA class only for classification purpose, then in your interactive workspace, you don't need BCTA class. Again, BCT is a very faithful partner for lot many years, and The point is, in rack, they provided additional functionality as well as usability to the user experience to the customers. In active workspace, that diminishes to a large extent. If you're using active workspace classification, in most likely cases, you won't require or even miss the functionality what BCTE class provides in rack.
Okay, thank you.
Hope that answers. Yeah.
Yes. Anything else you want to add, Abhijit? If we have missed something to cover, or any message you want to give, or something new coming up.
Sure. So I was not present during the entire conversation here, but I believe you covered advanced, basic, advanced, and AI, all three topics. So uh, advanced is, I'm sure you covered that topic, but advanced is really advanced as the name suggests in terms of the data modeling flexibility it provides. Don't mistake advanced for E-class because advanced is an engine, advanced classification. It can exist on its own. Just like for basic, you could create your hierarchy as well as classes where you could classify. In advanced also, you can model your hierarchy and class definitions and use it to classify. The added advantage with advanced classification is it supports E-class standard out of the box. So in case you have a affinity towards the E-class standard alignment, then you could seek out the membership of E-class, download their XMLs, which they provide in the OntoML formats for their hierarchy and class definitions, and import that in advanced classification and start using it to classify your data. So you don't need to waste more time in creating hierarchies and establishing standardized or normalized uh, attributes and classes. Uh, I think that's it. Anything else, Sangad, you want me to point on? I can certainly speak.
Yeah, just some few questions from the US and Europe realized live. I can just repeat, like
Sure.
the documents classification capabilities,
Mhm.
right? So I guess it is same as the parts classification. You can classify documents. You can have a document node, different type of
Oh,
documents like service manuals, technicals,
you can
instructions, right?
classify
Um,
anything you want
yeah,
in Teamcenter
right.
as long as it is item rev, type
Yes,
rev, or workspace
right,
object. So it can be
right,
document, it can be simulation models, parts, whatever your custom types, doesn't matter.
right, right.
I'll go the
Yes.
other way around. What you cannot classify. You cannot classify notional objects such as occurrences or
Mhm.
variants. Those kind of notional objects is what you cannot classify. You need to have a real object or object revision right in Teamcenter.
Yes. Okay. And one more question was about the GLS search, how it actually works behind the screen, right? We see from classification, you can do shape search, right? So a bit of like GLS search have to be active already, and then classification uses hooks up to it, right?
Yeah. So again, I don't own the GLS search area. So in case you go into real technicalities, I may not be able to answer all that. But conceptually, I can tell you what GLS is all about. So GLS, like the name says, it is a shape search engine. So what it does basically is when you have your 2D, 3D data, which is already AJT files, which is already in Teamcenter, or in NX. Okay. You can actually extend that to Jewelers. The Jewelers creates its own fingerprint and index within its own database, and it basically relates all those objects with the similarity as well as their own specific search criteria, what Jewelers engine creates from that. In our case, and in active workspace, if you already have Jewelers existing in your ecosystem, deployment ecosystem, you can plug it into active workspace. You can plug that into AI. In AI, it's optional. If you plug in Jewelers into AI, it usually improves your confidence ratio of the tool. But behind the scene, what it does basically is when when you do a search in active workspace, you find an object, and when you ask GLS to find similar geometrical objects, it uses its the selected object thumbprint and finds the other index thumbprints what it has within its database to give you those identical objects. Of course, you can apply criteria of how similar, what is the scale of the object, whether it is 200% or 100% or below that, and you can filter the geometrically similar objects based on shape criteria.
Yes. Okay. One last question is what resource or power GPU, CPU will be required for the AI engine? Would it put any load on Teamcenter servers?
So AI certainly requires GPU power when it is creating the machine learning neural networks. So there are
Mhm.
two phases of AI learning. First is the data extraction, where it actually extracts data out of Teamcenter. That's one utility. Then the second is the training model, which is where it actually creates machine learning on the neural network models. So that's where the GPU is required, and it also requires a GPU when it suggests you those predictions and values when in the runtime. So it does require a GPU power. I can get you the details of what that criteria is. We have some benchmark figures on that. But
Mhm.
I wouldn't be, I'll be candid. It's without some crunching power, AI won't work.
Yeah, yeah, right. So it will need some additional
Yeah,
power behind
yeah,
the screen to work, right?
yeah.
Okay. Yes, yes. But it's a lot of advantages of the indexing the data and also, yeah, utilizing this for a lot of analytics further, I would say, not just searching. And I think it's worth an investment. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, I think that's all from our side. And thank you everyone for joining. Thank you also Abhijit and Jaideep for contributing.
No
And
problem.
we might have a detailed, specific session on AI, for example, or GLS, for example, coming up. And stay tuned. Thank you very much. And bye bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.